The rain had not yet fallen, but the sky already wore the color of steel. Machines crawled across the wetlands like metal beasts, their treads crushing reeds and roots that had stood for decades. The HOA had finally started their road project, despite every warning they'd been given. They said it was progress. They said it would raise property values. They said nature would adjust. But as the ground shook with each dig, Lenox knew this wasn't development at all. It was dissection. She watched from the hillside, boots half sunken in the soft earth. She had lived here her entire life, her family had protected these wetlands long before the HOA existed. Now it was being carved open for convenience. There were papers, false permits, bank transfers that didn't add up, environmental reports edited to hide the truth. She tried to protest legally, to speak at meetings, to show evidence. They ignored her. Some even threatened her. "Let it go," a man had said to her once, smiling too calmly. "You're just one woman. Nature doesn't need you." But nature did need her. And maybe someone else did too. Detective Aiden Crowe arrived the same day the first layer of asphalt was poured. He stepped out of his black sedan wearing a gray coat and the kind of expression that said he trusted nothing he saw. He was CID, brought in after a string of anonymous complaints about the construction site. Someone reported strange activity, falsified paperwork, and unusually large cash withdrawals from the HOA account. He was there to trace corruption. He didn't know he was also stepping into something far darker. He spotted Mara almost immediately. She was taking photos of the machines with a camera that had seen better years. He walked toward her, careful steps, as if the ground could give way. She didn't turn to look at him, but she had already noticed his approach. She kept her focus on the camera viewfinder. "You're not part of the crew," he said. "Neither are you," she replied. He introduced himself, flashing his badge. She hesitated before giving her name, Mara Lenox. He recognized it. Her complaint letter had triggered the investigation. She spoke evenly, but her eyes held something hard. She warned him that the wetlands weren't just wetlands. They were an ecosystem, and an evidence field. If he looked closely, he'd find more than environmental violations. As they talked, excavators tore into the earth behind them. Aiden watched them for a moment before asking her a question that changed everything. "What do you think they're hiding?" She turned to meet his gaze. For the first time, he saw beyond her anger. There was fear, but also a fire he couldn't place. A feeling that ran deeper than concern for nature. Something personal. Something buried. "I think they're building more than just a road," she said. "I think they're covering their tracks." Aiden studied her closely. He had seen liars before, dozens of them. But this woman didn't twitch. She didn't stutter. She didn't flinch. The wind shifted. The wetlands groaned under the weight of machines. Aiden glanced at the sky, storm coming. Mara stepped away from him and looked out over the land, almost like she was saying goodbye to it. "This place remembers everything," she whispered. He didn't understand what she meant. Not then. But he would. Very soon, the storm arrived like a warning too late to matter. Clouds split open, pouring heavy rain that hammered the unfinished road and drowned every footprint left behind. The wetlands, once quiet and wounded, surged like a living thing reclaiming what had been stolen from it. Within hours, the new road buckled as if the ground beneath it finally exhaled. Asphalt cracked. Machinery sank. Floodwater rose, swallowing everything in its path. By morning, the entire construction site was gone, buried under muddy water and uprooted debris. It looked less like a project and more like a graveyard. CID tape fluttered weakly in the wind as officers tried to assess the damage, but all they could do was watch the storm finish its work. No one spoke much. Some disasters were louder in silence. Detective Aiden Crowe stood at the edge of the flooded site, water up to his boots, staring at what used to be evidence. He kept replaying the previous day's conversation with Mara in his mind, her warnings, her certainty, her quiet grief. She had predicted this. She hadn't sounded afraid. She had sounded like someone who was waiting for it. A call came through his radio. Something had been found. Aiden moved quickly, but the sight stopped him cold. A car, half submerged, pulled from deeper water by CID divers. Not abandoned. Not accidental. There was a body inside, glassy-eyed through the window. Aiden recognized the emblem on the shirt before he saw the face, HOA Operations Manager, Nathan Cole. He had gone missing 3 days ago. They thought he was out of town on business. The coroner murmured something about lacerations on the neck. Defensive wounds. Signs of a struggle. He was dead before the flood touched him. Not an accident. A cleanup. Aiden questioned workers, but their answers were rehearsed. We didn't see anything. We don't know anything. Files were missing, email accounts wiped, surveillance footage mysteriously corrupted. Someone had prepared for this. Someone knew the flood was coming. As the rain eased, Mara arrived. She wasn't escorted. She wasn't invited. Yet she walked straight through the cordon with calm steps. Mud spattered her boots, droplets clung to her dark hair, but her eyes, they were steady. Too steady. Aiden approached her cautiously. You shouldn't be here, he said. I was here before any of you, she answered softly. He studied her face, searching for guilt or fear. Instead, he found understanding, like she knew what the land was capable of. Like she had always known. You saw something, he pressed, his voice sharper now. You called in the first complaint. And yesterday, you knew something was going to happen. So tell me, how did you know a body was in that car before any of us did? Mara stared at the wreckage of the road as if looking through it. When she finally met his gaze again, there was no hesitation. Because he wasn't supposed to be found, she said. And someone tried very hard to make sure of that. Wind swept across the waterlogged site, bringing with it the scent of earth and decay. Aiden felt the case shifting beneath his feet, like the ground was no longer solid. Mara walked past him, stopping at the very edge of the flood. She didn't touch the water, but it felt like it reached for her. The wetlands don't hide things, she whispered. They return them. Aiden didn't know whether to arrest her, or protect her. But he knew one thing. This wasn't a natural disaster. It was the beginning of something buried. Waking up, night fell without stars, as if the sky refused to witness what was about to unfold. The wetlands lay still, the broken road glimmering under moonlight like the scar of a crime poorly covered. CID officers had left for the night. The cordon tape rustled as though something beneath it was breathing. Only 2 people remained, Detective Aiden Crowe, and Mara Lenox, standing across from each other like a confession waiting to happen. Aiden had spent the day following a trail of evidence, documents recovered from HOA emails, deleted bank logs, large anonymous wire transfers looping back to a single name, Victor Kessler. HOA president. Missing for 48 hours. And Mara's former lover. That part was never logged officially, but Aiden found it anyway, in a photograph hidden on her computer. Victor's arm around her. A kiss on her cheek. Her eyes empty. Now he knew. The wetlands were personal to her. But the crime ran deeper than nature. He confronted her by the twisted edge of the road, where asphalt met mud like flesh torn from bone. His voice was calm, but calculated. You never just wanted to protect this land, he said. You were protecting something else. Or someone. Tell me what happened to Victor, before I find out myself. Mara looked at the dark water, her expression unreadable. The breeze stirred her hair like a quiet warning. She didn't run. She didn't cry. She stepped closer to him. It started with the wetlands, she said. But it didn't end there. She told him everything, not as a confession, but as history. Victor used the wetlands to bury more than pollutants. Money laundering. Fake contractors. Political deals. And when Mara discovered it, love turned to leverage. He threatened her. He isolated her. He erased her voice one document at a time, until she felt like nothing more than evidence he had not yet destroyed. But she fought back. She hid files. She sent anonymous reports. She worked with someone inside the HOA, who tried to expose him. Nathan Cole. The body in the car. He died for trying to help her. And now Victor was missing. Aiden listened, but not like a detective. More like someone deciding which side of the line he stood on. His badge felt heavier than usual. Justice was no longer as clear as the law. Mara, he said softly, are you asking me to help you, or forgive you? She shook her head. I don't need forgiveness, and I don't need saving. Then her eyes lifted to meet his. But I need someone who understands what it means when justice can't be proven. Only done. Aiden felt his instincts tearing him apart. She was the only one who had told the truth, but maybe also the one who had gone too far to ever return. The wetlands murmured with the night wind. Somewhere, a frog croaked like a broken alarm. The road lay destroyed behind them. And the case file in Aiden's hand suddenly felt like fiction compared to the truth in front of him. I should arrest you, he whispered. Mara smiled, sad, sharp, knowing. Or, she murmured, stepping closer, you could help me finish this. Her breath brushed his lips. The night held still. He didn't answer. But he didn't walk away. The CID case was officially marked. Unresolved. Natural disaster. No further investigation required. But the wetlands remembered every secret. And so did they.